So, good morning and welcome to another episode of Hook, Line and Sinker. I hope you're all well and I hope you're all catching a few. If you are, don't forget to drop over to our Facebook group, which is Chasing Chunks. You'll find the link below. Click on that and come and share your captures, thoughts with other like-minded carp anglers. Now today you join me at Hawkins Angling Club, and local anglers will know it as Walton. It's a place that I've never fished before, but I'm going to start and do a mini campaign from February to March, probably the hardest times during our winter period, and I'm going to be trying to break the cold down here, and I'm going to bring the camera with me, and you're going to go through some of the effort that I put from pre-baiting right the way through to walking the banks, trying to find fish and trying to break the cold. It's all about putting effort in, and I enjoy breaking down and thinking about what I'm doing on new waters. I've never ever cast a line into this water until today, so it's all about learning, it's all about keeping your mind active, and like I've said it before, if you go on a syndicate water and you've been on there for a long time, you don't go through a process of trying to learn because you've learnt it. You just go through the process of casting out, doing what you've got to do to catch fish there. It isn't until you go off to a new water and you've got to start to think about what you're doing. You've got to start putting effort in to get your rewards out of here, and that is what I enjoy doing. That's why I don't like to stick on to syndicates for too long, because it's only when you're thinking about what you're doing is when you're learning, and obviously then blanks will start to turn into rewards. So I hope you enjoy this little mini series. By the time you get it, it'll be 2 months all stitched together at once, and hopefully you'll enjoy what you see. So sit back, relax, and let Tosh do what he's got to do to catch some of the fish out of here. Enjoy. Well, what a result for the first fish bagged on the first trip of this winter campaign down here at Walton. A little pink pop-up on the advanced chod rig with about 10 baits around it, the 12mm ASM, as you can see. Lovely to be off the mark and something to progress on to now, and I was out just over here in open water. Funny little take it was. It was didn't actually lift up, it was just giving it a little bit of indication on the bobbins. Thought I'll pick up into that. When I picked up into it, it had kited a little bit down to the right hand side. Managed to bring it in, no problem at all. It did go for this snag bush here, but a little bit of side strain, I managed to clear it, and there is the results. Right, let's get her out. Right, well, this is my first fish of 2019, and the first one to start the winter campaign down here at Walton for 2 months. Nice result to get off the mark on the first trip out here. I wasn't expecting it. As I said, it was all about coming down and just learning about the lake and letting the fish tell me what they want to do and what they're doing. But I will take this all day long for the first fish out of here. Guesstimate about £12. Some leeches on it, but yeah, well and truly happy, and let's send her on her way. It is absolutely freezing, so I don't want to be holding her too long. Let's slip her back, and we've got another rod in the area out there, so wouldn't that be lucky to have another one on my first trip. but more than happy with this one, and onwards and upwards. Happy days. So I'm just having a little look around, just come round to snags and have a look just underneath this bush. This place seems to be the place where they're holding up. If you look through the trees, you can see that the fish are just boiling up just underneath there. So there is carp in there, and there's carp in, yeah, it's just there, and there's carp in there in numbers. So my theory is that I might just get them from the opposite side, casting over tight to this snag bush and attack it from the opposite side. Yep, that's at the eyes of the fish. You can see it down there. There are fish in there, and there's fish in there in numbers. So my port of call tomorrow when I walk around is I'm going to sprinkle some bait in there and around there, and go around to the other side, bring a single rod, and do some wrap-ups to see how far I can get close in to the to that area, so I can fish it from the opposite side. It'll be alright fishing it from this side, but you can't get the angle on the fish to get them away. It's only where you can do some snag fishing from the opposite side, where you can draw them away from the snag rather than trying to drag them through the snag to the right hand side. So these fish are here, they can double back on you as you're pulling them towards you, where the other side is that you're always pulling them away from the snag. So that will be the place where I'm going to start to put a little bit of bait in tomorrow, and for the rest of the week. I don't know whether I can fish it next week, but I'll have a crack at it if I can midweek, but we'll see. And see how we go. Well, the first day of my short winter campaign from February to March couldn't have started any better. One fish caught, and hopefully as we progress through the months, more and more fish can be caught. It's all about now putting your time in, putting your effort in. I'm going to be walking these banks and trying to find and locate these fish. Obviously I've got a good starting point that fish was caught in open water earlier. However, I have seen a lot of activity down to my left hand side underneath them snag bushes where I originally thought there may be, but as I said, I've put myself in this swim today to give me a lot more access to see what's going on out in the lake, and obviously capturing that fish was a bonus. I think when that angler turned up opposite, then that was probably the kiss of death for the day, but there's plenty more days we're going to spend down here, and hopefully a few more fish to be caught. Well, I'm back, and it's been a couple of days since I was last down on my first trip where I was lucky enough to bag that fish. Though I had that fish from out in open water, it was plainly obvious where these fish was, and the snags down to the left hand side was holding fish, and there was plenty of fish in there. It isn't surprising really, because from the lake itself, it is pretty barren. The only place that these fish can hide out, feel safe, is from these snags. Now, I am walking a little bit gingerly because these boards are absolutely lethal. Now, I've got to work out how I can attack this area, but do it safely, and the only way I can do that is introduce a little bit of bait about a foot away from the snags, and then what will happen is then fish will push out, feel confident to push out onto that bait, and then the only place to fish for them is over on the opposite bank, casting over to here. If I put a rod in here, then I ain't going to be able to put a tight line onto them before they go into these snags. There's no way I'm going to be able to hit and hold from here. The only way I can do it is over there. So just introduce a little bit, a little enough an approach, and just slowly get them fish's confidence up to come out and feed away from them trees. As I said, it's a work week, and I'm down just in my dinner break to put some bait in. I've said it and time again, you put the effort in, you will reap the rewards. Tomorrow I'm going to go over there with my rod, and I'm going to clip it up to this bush, as I said, about a foot off it, and I will jump on my dinner break sometime this week. Right, let's get to putting this bait in, and I'll see you next time when I'm fishing for a quick dinner break trip. Well, good morning. You join me once again down on the lake, and today I'm down to do a little bit of groundwork in my dinner hour, and I'm going to be clipping up to them opposite snags where I've seen a lot of fish holding up the other day and the first time I was down. So once I've got this clipped up into the area where I want to be fishing, then I can take this rod back home, clip up that other rod, and I will be fishing that distance for the remainder of the winter. I am also going to be pre-baiting the central body of the lake where I picked up that fish at the start of my trip down here, and what I'll do is I'll keep feeding the two different areas, and I will be bouncing rods off each one as I start to pick up fish from the snags. You'll find once you start smashing them fish out, once you start smashing lines into that area, then fish will be a little bit more warier to come out and feed on the baited area. But if I can rest that spot, jump onto the open water spot for a week, and then jump back on, then you can keep them two spots rocking. So by the end of the winter period, then we can have two spots that are producing, and that is the best way you can do it to get your maximum results from this lake. So I'm going to have a go at clipping up now. We've got a little bit of cloud cover at the moment, so I can see where I'm casting to, but there is direct sunlight that's shining into my face, so I am keen to get the rods out and get them clipped up. I'm also going to put a bit of bait out once I've done that, just little and often approach, and I will hopefully get clipped up without any issue at all. So let's have a go at it and see how we get on. Right, so that's clipped up. As you've seen, I've pulled the lead through the area once it's clipped up, just to make sure that there's no underwater snags in the area. See whether it actually bounces off any twigs or any debris under there. It's pretty clear, as I thought it was. When you've got a lot of fish in the area, you'll find that it does actually polish off the bottom of the lake. So happy days. I'm going to put some bait out now, walk around and just scatter that bait just about a foot off the snags, and I will put a bit of bait out into the open water. So that's me done for today. Nice, short and simple. Go about the day, and hopefully when I come down, all these rods will be clipped up, ready to rock. See ya. So the winter campaign continues. I am back once again down Hawkins Angling Club. I have literally been here for half an hour and I've had 2 fish on the mat already, photoed and sent on the way. What an absolute result. I am literally down for a couple of hours in between shifts, and this place only defrosted yesterday. It's had a lid on it for 3 days, and we've got pretty mild conditions. It was absolutely spot on for me to come down, put out a couple of rods, and I have been repaid generously with 2 fish. The first fish came to the snag bush, which I've been talking about previously, and that roared off with a little scamp of a common. I'll show you the little bit of the video now. Right, well, I've been here about 10 minutes and the rod's just ripped off and resulted in this little scamp of a common. I'm not going to leave it out. I am going to put it back straight away so I can get some rods out there. I'm hoping something better will turn up, and for being here for 10 minutes, you know, I was more than happy with that fish. However, I did want something a little bit more of a bigger stamp, so I treated it, sent her on away, and as soon as I did, the left hand rod into the open water was away. Well, I'm in again. Literally down for a couple of hours today, and I've got what I've come for, which was one of the scaly mirrors from out of here. This one, I guesstimate around about 17-18 pounds. Let's hold up the prize and show you. Look at that for a winter banger. Fantastic. I said, all them days coming down here pre-baiting has paid off. I've had 2 fish in such short succession, and I've only been here literally half an hour. Wow, just wow. Right, I'm keen to get these rods out, because if they're out there feeding, then there's a good chance of a few more yet. Fantastic. and as soon as I picked up into it, I thought, yes, that's got a little bit more extra weight to it, got a bit more bigger stamp behind it, and I continued to play it in. When it come up, seeing them scales absolutely buzzing. That was one of the fish that I've been after from out of here. I've seen some photos, some nice scaly fish in here, but for that one to turn up on my second trip is well and truly absolutely fantastic. So I've already seen fish out into the open water since I've put that fish back, and I've had a couple of liners as well, so there may be a couple of fish on the cards yet, but I'm going to sit back for the rest of the couple of hours. I'm going to have me a cup of tea and a pot noodle, and hopefully I will be back with another carp on the mat. So for now, see you shortly. Well, second fish into open water. The open water spot has produced again with a lovely clean common. Check that out, absolutely stunning. They're definitely on the bait out there, and as I said, you can make these short sessions produce because I've put the effort in for the rest of the week, just coming down, putting a bit of bait out, and already it's got me 3 fish on the bank. Right, still time for another one. Let's get it back. Off you go. Good timing.
Huh?
Good timing.
I see it playing one.
I had 4.
That 4. That likes ya. Funny like cooking, were.
Right, fish number 4. What a cracking result for a couple of hours. And this one's called White Spot. Fantastic. Nice to get a name one. So let's get her back, send her on away. And one rod's out there rocking still, so happy days. Right, well, unfortunately it's time to bring these rods in and get back off to work, unfortunately. But what an amazing couple of hours I've had down here. 4 fish in total, and it's great to see them spots that I've been pre-baiting starting to produce and starting to throw some fish. It's just a testament to the bait, really. Get that bait going in, give them a good bait, and put that effort in, making them spots rock, and then fish will come in any weather. So I hope you've enjoyed this little trip, and I will pick the camera up again next weekend. I'm hoping to do the weekend and do a couple of day trips down there, and I may even do another trip during my dinner break. But thanks for watching, and the campaign continues. Let's see what else we'll bring over the weeks and the next time I'm down. See you later. Well, you join me back on a dinner time special. Friday afternoon once again, and I'm down to put a couple of rods out for a couple of hours to see whether I can chance my bets and winkle a fish out of here in short time. This place only had a lid on it yesterday, and the storms that have come through have lifted the lid off here, and it's allowed me to come and fish. I've not been able to get down here for over 2 weeks, so since the last time I've come down fishing, fortunately this place has had a lid on it and it's been solid. Even over on the snags, I haven't even been able to put any bait on there. It has to be frozen solid around them branches. So, you know, hopefully, you know, I can chance my bet and grab a fish out of here. Put some bait out yesterday as it was thawing. Managed to get some out on the spot, so there is bait out there, and there has been bait put on back on the spots, but like I say, they haven't been fed on there for 2 weeks, so you know it's going to take a little bit of time to get them spots activated again and get them fish visiting. But you know, while them rods are in, then there's always a chance of a bite. So I'm going to kick back for a few hours and let's see what comes along. Well, not exactly what I wanted, but a fish is a fish, and it's very welcome indeed. However, I'm going to send it on its way. I'm not going to get it out. It's probably about £2. Nice result though. Nice to see him still out there for him. Right, well this place has been pretty kind to me, and I've managed to capture another one of the name fish, and this one is called Casper, and you'll realise why now. How's that for a winter bite? Absolutely stunning. Guesstimate probably about 16, but for winter that is a result. Fantastic. Let's get it back, and this is the second one from a couple of hours today. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Well, the couple of hours have come and gone far too fast, and unfortunately I've got to get back off to work. But for the short time I've been down here to bag Casper, a fish that doesn't come out very often, he's pretty elusive to hit the bank, I am more than chuffed with. So I'm hoping to come back down tomorrow for a couple of hours and on Sunday, and hopefully we can continue on with the roll that we've got. I am having a rig change tomorrow, but I will explain why I'm doing that tomorrow. I know I've picked up quite a few fish on the rig that I'm using at the moment, but I do think I was done today a few times, so I will explain that tomorrow when I come down. But I will see you in a couple of hours in the morning when I'm back chasing these chunks. Ta-da. Well, good morning. You join me the week after my previous session. I am back down for a couple of hours during my dinner break, see whether I can capture one of the gems out of here in this short period of time. I did say on my previous vlog or my previous entry that I was going to come down during the weekend, put out a couple of rods, which I did on the Saturday. However, because I forgot my charger, unfortunately my video camera went flat. I didn't pick up too much footage. However, you didn't miss too much because I blanked install. My first blank down here, but it was well and truly due. So I left it on the Sunday, come down on the Monday, started to feed these areas again, and you join me midweek on the Wednesday. Now they're having a big social on here on Friday, so that's why I'm down on Wednesday rather than coming down at the end of the week. I'm going to do today, and then I'm going to rest the swim until or rest the spots until after the weekend when it goes quiet again. So I'm going to kick back this morning. If I pick up a fish, obviously I will do a vlog entry. If not, I will see you at the end of the session. It's time for a cup of tea, something to eat, and chill out in this glorious weather we're having. We've got mild weather conditions, we've got movement on the water, and it is looking pretty decent for a bite. But after the weekend's blank, my confidence isn't very high, but hopefully one of them bobbins will rattle off and I'll have a prize, get me a little bit confident again that them fish are on the spots. So I'll catch you later. Ta-da. Well, unfortunately, them rods have stayed quiet. I was hoping for a last minute bite, however, nothing's come to them and I need to reel in and get back off to work. I'm not too sure what's put them fish off. That's 2 blanks now. However, you've got to expect that in winter. You've got to expect these fish to be moody and you've got to expect to blank. So I'm not going to be down for the rest of the week. Obviously, in a couple of days' time, we're going to have a big social on here with the club members, so I'll keep away for that one. And next week I'm going to come down, try and reactivate them spots with bait and try and get them fish confident feeding back on the spots. So I'll see you next week when I'm either baiting up or fishing. I'll probably be fishing if I'm towards the end of the week once I've baited up for the week. But for now, I'll catch you on my next trip down here. Ta-da. Right, well, I've just done a video to say that I was going back to work with a blank, and this place has been a little bit moody for the past couple of trips. However, I've got the one rod in, went down to pick this one up and the clutch started screaming off, resulting in this absolutely stunning common. Weight, I don't care of the weight, to be fair. When I'm catching fish like this on my dinner break, then it really is irrelevant. But look at that, she is absolutely scale perfect. And let's get her back, send her on the way, and I need to get back off to work. Ta-da. Well, good morning. You join me back. It's the Wednesday morning. It's the week after the social that happened the weekend. I am back once again for a couple of hours this morning to chance my best to see whether I can winkle a fish out of here in short time. Now, due to my work rota changing, I've managed to get the morning down here. I've managed to put out a couple of rods of first light, and I've managed to work my hours around to get an extra hour on the bank. Now, when I say an extra hour, it's only 4 hours, but it's a lot more than I've had previously, and I'm hoping that extra hour makes a difference. Now, I was planning to target the snag bush because that's done me 2 fish from my last 2 trips. That common right at the last minute, I was just about to pick up the rod, and I've seen the line tighten up, the clutch start to take off, and that was a nice addition to that short session. And I was planning on again targeting that bush because it has been doing with the bites. However, when I was setting up my nets at first light this morning, I seen a fish nut out into my open water spot, and that was enough for me to target that area and put 2 rods into open water. Don't ignore that sort of sign, especially when it's cold, miserable and damp. So that's where we are this morning, and I'm going to chill out, have a cup of tea, and I will pick the camera up if anything does, or if anything happens, or I've got anything to update. So I will see you a little bit later. Ta-ra. Right, well that's another fish bagged, and nice little comment for my efforts this morning. Let's get her out and let's take a look at her. I didn't think it was going to happen this morning, but I've received a take on the left hand rod out onto the baited area, and let me just show you what we've got. Absolutely lovely common in its winter colours. Another immaculate fish like mouse star in here that I've had, and that is my prize for a couple of hours fishing and pre-baiting for Monday and Tuesday. But you've got to be happy with that on a Wednesday morning before you go to work. Absolutely lovely. Let's get her back, send her on her way. I've got 1 rod still out on the spot. Maybe that will go before I go off to work, but this one is more than happy that I can get off to work with, and thank you for the memories. Lovely. Well, it's just gone 11 o'clock and the rods are in. I'm just making my way around to the car to get changed out of this carpet gear. Luckily I've got my work overall underneath, so I'm going to get changed and get back off to work. Unfortunately, now I'm not back down for another 3 days, and the Saturday morning I'm going to be repeating what I did today. I've got 4 hours on the bank. Hopefully we'll be able to catch a fish again and get lucky. So for now, just like magic, you're going to go now and you're going to see me on Saturday morning. Bye bye. Well, good morning. Saturday morning. I am back once again till 1:30 today, so I've got quite a few hours on the bank. Now I come at first light this morning, just before it got light, walked round to the bank where I've been fishing, and I was really surprised to find a couple of anglers in there. I've not seen anybody down here for 5 weeks, so it was a real surprise to see them in the swim. Not too sure whether anybody spotted me baiting up, but it is what it is, isn't it? However, I am going to be bringing this short video diary to an end after today, and that's basically because of the weather. We are in March now, and as we go forward into March, it's looking like we're going to have an early spring. This water was always going to be about doing a bit of winter fishing, so as it warms up I want to be targeting my syndicate waters and some other waters. So I've had a great time down here, and hopefully we can put a fish on the bank today from my time down here. So I'm going to kick back this morning and enjoy my last trip on the bank. So cue the carp. Let's see whether we can get a take on camera. Right, well, not the biggest of carp I know, but it's nice to get a take on camera. I knew there was a few fish out there. I've seen that line just graze up and then reset. So I thought I'd get the cameras rolling, and you've seen a nice one toner on the camera, so absolutely fantastic. The guys opposite have just gone, so I can spread my rods around a bit and put them on that baited area. So I'll take this as a start. Maybe, just maybe, there may be a few more, but nice and welcome for the morning bite. So let's send this one on its way, and let's show you the rig that I've been catching most of the fish on, and happy days. Well, you've just seen me put that fish back, and while the rod's out, it's a great opportunity for me to show you the rigs and also the bait that I've been using down here to catch these eyes up Walton carp. You won't be surprised that I've been using the Key Bait Solutions All Season Mix. This is a great winterized bait and also a fantastic catcher of carp in the summer, hence the name All Season. And I've been using the 12 millers basically because I've been coming down pre-baited. I've been using the catapult to put a spread of bait over my areas, keep them areas activated, and with the 12 millers it gives you a nice spread of bait, gets them fish used to picking up the single freebies. When you finally put out your hook bait, then they're not going to be too wary to pick up your hook bait and get caught. I've also been adding the matching All Season Mix feed stimulant. I've been just adding that to the baits in the bag just before I come out, and then are nicely soaked in when I finally get down here to put some bait out. Then we'll release the feed stimulant out into the lake bed, hopefully drawing them carp in, which I think it has, because I've had quite a successful trips down here. I've also, because I've been using the Snowman rig setup, I've got some 16mm bottom baits, again matching, and I've been soaking them again in the feed stimulant, and what I've been doing is allowing them to dry, put some more feed stimulant on it and allowing them to dry again, and just keep topping up the coating on the outside of the baits. And what happens is it gives it a nice crust. Just had a knock on the middle rod, and obviously when you put that onto your hook bait, then onto your hook, then it's going to release the feed stimulant and the food signals over time, because it's breaking down slower. On top of that, I've just been putting it on my way. No. I've just been putting some 8 millers over the top as well, just obviously to give it a little bit of a sight stop and something for them fish to home in on, and that's what's been doing me the damage down here. So let's move on to the rig. Let's show you what I've been catching them on, and basically that's what I'm using, which is a Snowman rig setup. Now you may recall the first time I come down here I was using a chod rig. However, I thought a blatant pop up of about an inch out in 3 to 4 foot of water was a little bit too blatant and was costing me fish. So I moved over onto this to get a little bit of a closer to the lake bed presentation. On there you've got a, if you can see it, I've got a curved shank hook with one of the new corded deer liners. Use the deer liner basically because I had him in my bag. I bought them from the shop, and I thought I'll give them a try, and they've done me pretty well, to be honest. I've also put one of the mini hook ring swivels on there, so it allows me to blob on my Snowman setup and secure it. Now I'm using that in conjunction with the UFO PVA setup. Now I'll call it that, you can actually call it anything you want. It's just when I've been talking to people, that's what I've referred it as. Basically I was fishing Acton Burnell a couple of years ago. I was fishing around a snag bush, and there was quite a lot of leaf and debris underneath the, just had a knock on the rod, a little bit of debris underneath the tree. So I needed a setup where I could set a PVA stick on top of them debris, and I've come up with this system. Now over time I've developed it and moved it forward, and what it basically is I put the stick mix on sideways, put it down over the hook, and then I mould it into this shape around the hook. So the hook goes in through the side, and then I'll just mould the stick mix around the hook, and what that does is gives you a presentation that will always land flat on the lake bed. With a tendency with the normal stick mix, you can roll around, and I've seen it before where the hook is pointing up at a funny angle. It's not going to be good for the fish to see, and this setup stops all that happening. It also, because the way it folds over two sides, it folds over the hook, and all you can see is the pop-up and the stick mix. And just going down to there, you go down to some supple braid with a couple of blobs of tungsten putty on there, anti-tangle sleeve, down to a helicopter or rotary system. Because I've been fishing around the snags, I always put on these heli-safe beads. If fish gets into any difficulty, puts any pressure on that bead falls off, allows that hook link to ride up over the leader, and the fish is just left with the hook and the hook link. So nice and safe, and it must be done if you're fishing with the helicopter bead. I've stopped using silicone now. The only thing I use now is these heli bead systems by Corda, basically because they are the safest. The leader itself is a Avid pin down, nice and heavy, supple, will follow the contours of the lake. If there's any indentations, because of how heavy and supple it is, it will follow them, keep this leader out of the way of these grazing fish and feeding fish if they're in the area. Then I go down to a tungsten bead. Basically I've got that on just to keep the back end of the leader nice and supple and heavy, keep everything away from the hook bait, and it also acts as a buffer bead if I put my flying back lead on. Another use for it is that it also protects the back end of this knot. So if it goes through snags or something, or gets into difficulty, then I'd rather have a better chance of the knot being protected. And that is basically it. Nice and simple, nothing difficult. Let's get it out and let's see whether I can have a fish in the last hour of my fishing. Well guys, it's time to reel in, pack up and find another adventure. I hope you've enjoyed this short video diary. 5 weeks in total we've had down here, but I come for a scaly one and I was rewarded on my second trip. I've also had quite a few backup fish as well, which was well and truly welcome, and I've enjoyed every single time I've had down here. Massive thank you to Lee the bailiff for letting me come down here and film, to all the members that I've met on the bank, and thank you for the memories, Hawkins Angling Club. Now just to note that this is not just a club lake, it is also day ticket water, so you can come down here, fish down here in these lovely surroundings with the potential of catching one of the lovely fish out of here for a really competitive rate. So get on it guys, come down, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like these type of videos, and just underneath there is a bell icon, hit that and it'll keep you up to date as and when I upload my carp videos. So for now, I will see you on my next video. So wet nets, tight lines, see you soon, bye bye.